What is going on YouTube? Today what we're doing is we're taking a break from our team building and team reviews, and we're going to actually look at the announcement that we just got related to these new units right here. Stay tuned, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so as usual you have on your screen the details for the giveaway. Make sure that you are subscribed. You must be a subscriber in order to enter the giveaway. Make sure that you're liking the video and looking for the comments below, dropping 2 questions that I will be asking you throughout the video, and of course go back to all the videos throughout these dates to get your answers in for the most chance to win. That being said, let's get into today's video. So what we are looking at today is our new units. We got some previews, we have a good idea of what's going on, but before that I actually just want to take a quick minute here just to thank everybody watching this video, all the subscribers. We hit 1,000 subscribers. This was a huge goal. I had actually given myself a year to hit that goal, possibly 2 years, and we did it in 3 months. So a huge thank you to everybody. I am very proud here. I don't do a whole lot of stuff kind of 100% myself. I've always been kind of an employee, so this feels very good to do on my own, and to have all of you guys be a part of it. So that being said, let's get into the content here. So the first unit that we're going to be looking at here, and by the way, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, definitely go over there because I kind of share these things out as they come out, so you kind of see them before I actually make the videos on them. But we're looking at Caulifla. So she's Super Saiyan 2 off the bat, so something kind of to keep in mind here. Now, as far as what she does, she's an all-out attacker who deals tons of strike damage, so obviously a striker, especially against Saiyans. So she's probably going to have one of those buffs that increase her damage against Saiyans specifically, which is a good idea, I guess, kind of. We'll see how this kind of plays out. New units, because I mean, we'll see later. Cabba kind of gives her a buff. I'm not sure if it's going to be overkill. Depends what the rest of her kit looks like, right? When I see kind of a lot of buff stacking in a permanent way, so for example, every time you switch, you get a buff, and you're going to be switching so quickly because these matches kind of move along. You know, every 10 seconds you're switching. When your character comes off of its cooldown. You know, you're basically having this permanent buff on, and if you have more of these buffs added to that, that's where we get the kind of one-shots happening. So we'll see what happens there. Raise strike attack even further with her special skill, I Can Feel the Tingle. So this is probably going to be her green card, where she'll just get a big bonus of strike damage. That's fine. That's been standard for most green cards, and the ones that aren't standard like this are usually overpowered, such as the green Vegetas. Even though he's not a good unit, his green card is one of the best in the game. So I mean, this is probably a good thing that we're just getting more damage. She's a key fighter in the up-and-coming female warrior team. So this is kind of a theme here that they've been kind of going along with. Where you have these units kind of getting the female warrior tag. I think they really want the kind of Dokkan Peppy Gals type scenario coming up. So we'll see how that plays out as well, right? Not sure if we should expect a big kind of team, if it's just going to be one of those novelty teams, or if it's actually going to be competitive. I mean, Caulifla is pretty strong in the anime, so we'll see what happens in the game. Let's take a look at what she actually does here. So she starts off, model looks, I guess, as good as we could expect it to. That's her little tingle, that's her green card there. So you see that she gets her strike buff, goes ahead and hits them, and then drops a blue card, I believe, here. Yeah, so that would be her blue card. So pretty standard stuff, nothing crazy looking. Model looks okay. I think it could have looked better, but I mean, it's a Caulifla model, it's fine. Next one on the list is our Kale. So Kale is one of those units where it can be amazing or it can be terrible. Let's be real here. What I'm hoping for is obviously that it's going to be somewhere in the middle, but I have a feeling we're getting an extreme no matter what. So Super Saiyan Kale. So it does say Super Saiyan, and then it says Berserk arrives in brackets. So now, will she have the Super Saiyan tag? Will she be Berserker? If she's a Super Saiyan, is this a direct buff to the Holy Trinity? We may have an issue here, right? But let's keep reading. So when changing cover, she interrupts enemy combo by destroying enemy arts cards. So basically, her way of stopping combos is going to be when you switch into her, all of their cards disappear. So she'll probably take the oncoming hit from the card that was used initially, but the rest of the combo basically stops. So you want to be switching her in ASAP when the combo starts. This is actually interesting. I think that it may have been better back when sidestepping was broken. Now I think this is going to be one of those annoying, semi-overpowered things, right? Because you basically get a free neutral screen off of it. Not sure how I feel about it, because there's not a whole lot of counterplay there unless she's locked into some kind of animation where you can kind of rising rush cancel out of it, or something along those lines where you can kind of not just get nerfed just because she's on the enemy team, because that's how units end up being need to play, right? So when Broly was the only one going through blast cards, I mean, basically everyone had to bring him. Now you can kind of make a choice, especially, well, you can make a choice if you're running the Whale movie team, best team in the game. You've got both him and Cooler. I mean, you can kind of decide what is more appropriate based on the typing and stuff like that. I mean, Broly is still broken. I would still recommend bringing him no matter what, but you do have a choice, that being said. So we'll see how this plays out, right? Together with her Intimidate skill, she poses an enormous threat. So here I'm assuming Intimidate implies, instilling fear. It's likely that she's going to be kind of, I guess, debuffing the enemy team. I can't imagine this being some kind of stun or anything like that. I mean, if it is, then she's definitely broken, but we'll have to see what happens, right? Despite possessing an uncontrollable power, she's tough also on defense. So basically, we're getting an idea that she's going to be a mini Broly here. She's going to have huge stats. She's going to be a defensive unit probably, with some good damage, maybe a support unit even. But I mean, the fact that she kind of interrupts combos, intimidates, those are very tanky kind of abilities, right? So let's see what she does here. So loads up. The model looks actually pretty good. I was expecting her to be a bit too beefy, but this is actually kind of representative. Maybe her shoulders and arms are a bit too big for Kale, but I mean, it's fine, right? They probably recycle a little bit off of the regular Broly. And that's about it, right? So she has her abilities, model looks good. Nothing really given away here. Obviously, when we actually get the release, we'll see how that goes. And then the last unit that we have here is the Super Saiyan Cabba. So now this is a Super Saiyan. So let's remember here that he's going to be a green unit, and he's a Super Saiyan. If he ends up being really strong, guess what happens? He goes on the Holy Trinity. We now have a green unit basically destroying all of the blue units that are out there right now, kind of keeping the meta in check because of the buffs that will be given by Super Saiyan Bardock. And I was talking about this, if they make Cabba, specifically because we knew it was going to be a Super Saiyan, if they make him a Sparking, they have to be very, very careful, because now with Super Saiyan Bardock out there, it kind of ruins Super Saiyans moving forward, right? Because everything gets broken, especially as a new unit. You're usually better than the old units, and you can see how that can be an issue. So now, he buffs his blast damage inflicted as he enters. So he's getting a self-buff as he enters the battlefield and stays longer on the field. So he has basically Super Vegeta's buff, Bojack's buff. Basically, they're all going to share the same buff here, where he buffs his blast damage inflicted as he enters and stays longer on the field. So probably a progressive, kind of up to 70% deal, the way Super Vegeta and Bojack had. When switched off, he buffs the strike damage inflicted by allied Vegeta and Universe 6 fighters. So the Vegeta, this might be interesting, because now we may have a reason to be using Majin Vegeta, and I say that only as a theory crafting, from a theory crafting point of view, because the Majin Vegeta can kind of be a standalone unit that already gets that 50% more damage at all times, right? He has his suicide ability, so if you're stacking green cards, you can pull that off to do massive damage. And now he's going to be getting a strike buff, kind of a la Bardock here. So that may end up being that new one-shot unit, basically, that will just delete people like Broly, maybe, right? With a 50% buff, plus getting damage from Cabba, plus whatever else, you know what I mean? So we'll have to see what happens. I don't think that the green Vegeta is going to be used here, just because they're both green units. I can't see that being a thing. Super Vegeta, possible. It's possible where you'll have, for example, Super Saiyan Bardock, Super Vegeta, and Cabba. I mean, maybe for color typing, it'll be worth it. I can't see Gogeta being replaced by Super Vegeta, though, and certainly not Broly. So, I mean, kind of hard to say that we'll be using all three. Otherwise, you might be using Cabba, Super Vegeta, and Broly maybe. We'll see. I don't even think that would be worth it. So I think Vegeta's kind of out of the equation here. I think they just did it for the meme. The Universe 6 Fires, that does become interesting though, because you have Caulifla, you have Kale. If Kale ends up being broken and Caulifla's getting all this damage, especially against Saiyans, well, now you basically have a third Trinity, right? The Lineage of Evil getting those buffs, you have the Holy Trinity getting those buffs, and you now have the Universe 6 Trinity getting those buffs. So we'll see what happens. I cannot wait to dive into these units and kind of theory craft things out, put teams together, so on and so forth. You know how I do. So we'll see. There's a lot of potential here, definitely. I am not disappointed. I think that this is something that could have been really, really kind of filler, and I think that they're doing it right. They're making it something that is likely to be meta, especially for people who didn't get Broly, people who didn't get a lot of the kind of necessary units, right? So if you're having trouble pulling Cooler, if you're having trouble pulling, you didn't get Bardock, you're having trouble pulling Broly. I think Broly's done now. You know, you do have these kind of continuous opportunities that if you have been hoarding, you know, these 40,000 CCs, now you can get yourself your own kind of brand new Trinity to be at least competitive, right, in the meta. So I think this is all fine. That being said, we'll have to wait until the actual release. So now the questions I'll ask you today are actually going to be related to both this. Obviously, I want to hear how you kind of see these units being. I mean, we haven't looked at Cabba's animations yet, so maybe we'll do that while I'm asking the questions. But basically, what do you guys think about these units? Do you think they'll be meta? Do you think that they're going to be broken, especially Kale? And the second question is actually related to the channel, right? Because we've hit 1,000 subscribers. We're looking for some more progression, obviously. So the question for number 2 will be, what do you guys think of League of Legends? Mainly because I personally play a lot of games. I don't just play Dragonball Legends. It's something that I got addicted to while riding the bus to work every day. So outside of that though, I am actually very good at other games, mainly League of Legends, among others. So I was thinking of adding some League of Legends content on the channel. There's like millions and millions and millions of players that play that game. It's one of the most popular games in the world. So obviously it would be good for the channel, and I would love to know if you guys play the game, know of the game, are thinking of playing the game, are curious about the game, whatever. Let me know down in the comments, and we'll call this a video. Thanks again, guys, for the 1,000 subscribers. Definitely made my day. You should see me bouncing around my office this morning. So that being said, guys, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.